Yeah, so my phone died yesterday, so I couldn't finish the episode the way I wanted to. So we are back. I'm here at the coffee shop getting some stuff done. But one of the things that I want to just bring to your attention, so yesterday I was talking about going back to the basics, some of the fundamentals. And one of the things that I'm working on right now is really like honing in on the ability to question and to think critical. That's the one thing that we have that AI does not have to the capacity that we have right now. So one of the things that I always try to do is constantly like question, and not just question, but frame my question and see how many levels. And I've talked about this before. See how many layers that question gives me, because solving a problem, if you're trying to solve the problem, Albert Einstein said this, if you're trying to solve the problem at the consciousness that you created the problem, you're not going to solve the problem. So you have to create a new consciousness, and you do that by questioning. And that's one of the things about, in terms of going back to the basics, fundamental, your ability to question, your ability to think critically is super key and important. The more you develop your critical thinking skills and the better questions you begin to ask, what happens is you begin to raise the level of your question asking to break the frame of the norm. And that's where innovation comes from. Just like the Cybertruck I just showed you, Elon Musk asked the right questions. Now, I know, if you know anything about like how innovation works, a lot of the references he used to come up with that Cybertruck, were already out there. But the question is being able to articulate it and present it the way it was presented, because it breaks the frame of everything we know about transportation, about vehicles. Because when you see it, it's hard to unsee it. It's hard to unsee it. And all that comes down to asking the right questions, getting down to first principles. And that's one thing that, having that critical thinking and then asking the right questions, you want to get down to what are the first principles of things. And from the root of the first principle, the trunk and the branches and the leaves, start to build this semantic knowledge base that it's in your mind, So I saw that Cybertruck, and I always say it breaks the frame. And that's high level, very high level critical thinking to be able to produce something like that and getting it out in the world. Let me know, is there any other examples of things that you've seen that just break the frame of the norm and that fascinate you? Put it in the comments. I don't even know how I got on this topic today, but I was just reading a post that said, rule number 1, there are no rules. Rule number 2, see rule number 1. I'll say it again. I just read it. It said, rule number 1, there are no rules. Rule number 2, see rule number 1, which are there are no rules. And this is from a venture capitalist, VC, who just posted that. And at first, it just took me by surprise. It's like, wow, it almost feels like everything is up for grabs right now. Like what we knew as foundational truths, foundational understandings are now up for grabs. It's almost like the conversation I had yesterday with the business owner who owned the marketing research company, and she is bowing out after 40 years because things are changing. And she made the reference that, there was a time when we used to drive horse and buggy. Now we're driving cars. And that shift, there's such a foundational shift. And some people are afraid of that shift. But some people, lean into it and understand how to turn it into an opportunity. A book I always reference called Future Shot talks a lot about this. Is like when the future is here, a lot of, we're seeing like this shift even like in our political climate, in our global foreign affairs, if you're here in the States. All these things, it just seems like everything is up for grabs. And it's scary, to be honest with you. It's scary, especially if you're running a business and you have partners and you have other obligations. It's hard. It's not easy at all. I talk to other friends and colleagues of mine that have their own business, and it's tough. It's really tough, and because of this idea, there's no rules. Like you can't run the same playbooks that you've been running forever. So that post really got my attention because it really ties into this theme of like being a critical thinker, understanding like first principles, and the thing that I remind myself of is that there's nothing new under the sun. There's nothing new under the sun. So that gives you a little bit of hope that you can always discover, you can always learn, and you can always innovate. And that's in the work that I'm doing now with a lot of great people. That's what we're thinking about. Like that's how we're thinking. It's those who are creating the future. And it doesn't seem like it. Like I'm just having a conversation with you, so I'm just spitballing with you. But it's like there's an opportunity to create the future, which is scary. It sounds exciting, but it's actually scary too because you don't know. You don't know what's gonna work. You don't know. You look at your runway. Like how much runway do you actually have to do that? You'll probably need, if you're an entrepreneur, you may need business partners that are highly skilled. You need funding. You need all these different things. These are things that I think about that keep me up at night. It's like, man, you gotta keep moving. You gotta keep moving. So what feeling comes to mind when you hear this idea of the rules changing? Do you get excited? Do you get exhilarated? Put an emoji in the comment section of how that makes you feel when you hear the rules are shifting right before our eyes.
The technology is very, fast paced right now. So
Yeah.
for a 25-year-old like me, I should cope up with the technology so I can, you know, I'm not left behind. That's what I'm
Yes.
doing right now.
Mm-hmm. I'm doing the same thing. It's
Yeah,
yeah,
that's good.
because the technology is moving so fast is that
Oh,
we all have to upskill. We all have to
yeah,
take a
that's what I'm doing
course or
right
read a
now.
book. Yes, I'm doing the same thing. So we're in the same boat in that regard.
That's good to hear because
So
I think
what's oh, go ahead.
I think I'm a professional teacher here in the Philippines, but I believe that that's not enough for the technology. You should
Mm-hmm.
continuously learning so you can cope up with the technology and the pace in this world because you will be left behind.
You're
That's
left
what
behind.
I
Yeah.
believe, yeah.
Yeah, I see.
So
So do you use AI at all?
yeah, chat GPT all the time.
Yeah,
Chat
that
GPT.
yeah, it sound that levels the playing field. Everybody has access to it, and you can use it as you learn how to use it more. So let me. As you saw, it's pretty obvious that the world is changing. Aldrin is his name. He will be joining our team, and his hunger to learn, his hunger to really want to, make an impact, was really infectious to me. Like I feel energetic after that call because of how much he wanted to learn and how much work he was willing to put in to get the learning that he wants to get. Because he was telling me one of his dreams is going to San Francisco. And I was telling him I was just there, maybe a year and a half ago, and it's an amazing city. But he got me excited. But one of the things that, you know, I noticed when I'm talking to people on the other side of the globe, when I'm building my global team, is the fact that they're using AI too. And I'm seeing it's changing, or I should say leveling the playing field. They see it as a huge opportunity. And it's interesting to see that contrast where the business owner yesterday, she was more like, hey, I'm at the end of a cycle. And he was showing that he's at the beginning of the cycle, and this could get him out of whatever situation he's in the Philippines, him and his friends. So not only did I hire him, he has two more, his brother and another friend, who are very competitive, all hungry, looking to work, that I'm bringing on the team as well. So really excited about that. It was a great way to end the day, because to be honest with you, it was really rough today. I just say it was a slog. It was just a slog today, but I ended off on a good note. And if you made it this far in the video, you already know what to do. With that said, peace.